did here, The Incident, directed by Larry Pierce, played at South American Film Festival in Mar del Plata, and did very well. I received Best Actor Award, Larry received Best Director Award, and Nick Baird got Best Writer Award. Anyway, unbeknownst to me, a lot of Italians were at that festival. And, you know, you say, how do you plan these things? You can't plan them. It was serendipity. Sergio Corbucci was looking for, forgive me, an Eli Wallach that he could afford. Okay? So he couldn't afford Eli, he could afford me. And somebody who was at that festival recommended me to Sergio. And that's how I became involved in The Mercenary, which was a spaghetti western. Okay. And I thought I was going to do an Italian film. I thought I was going to shoot in Italy. How did I know that all Italian spaghetti westerns were being shot in Spain? Okay, so I'm studying Italian, and no, I'm not, I kid you not, I never got to Italy on that film. However, there I am in Madrid or Almeria, I don't remember. I think it was anywhere, somewhere between Madrid and Almeria. And I received an offer to do One Night at Dinner. That's the English translation. It's Mezz'una Cena.
With Jean-Louis Trintignant.
Absolutely. Jean-Louis and Annie Girardot, Florinda Balkan, Lino Capolicchio, directed by Peppino Battori Griffi. Okay. I kid you not. If I get long-winded, stop me, okay? Because I do tend to get long-winded. Anyway, Giovanni Bertolucci, who was, well, he's passed away, he's Bernardo's cousin. He was producing a picture one night at dinner with Marina Ciconia, and he flew to Madrid with this script. And my wife Jane will watch for this. I thought, oh my God, we're shooting 12, 14 hours a day in the desert. I do not want to read a script. But the guy comes from Rome, and he comes to Madrid, and he has the script. What are you going to do? I read it. I stayed up. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to bed. I woke Jane up. I said, you got to read this in the morning, because I think I have to do it. Jane read it before lunch on the set. She said, you're right, you do have to do it. And before Giovanni left that afternoon, I said, yes, I will do it. Okay. So, that was the first actual film in Italy. Okay. Now, who is the co-author on the script? Did you believe? Dario Argento. Okay. Now, Peppino, a very good playwright, very good novelist, but a little shaky about the screenplays. And I don't know how they did it, but anyway, they worked together. And before I finished shooting One Night at Dinner, I received the script of The Bird of the Crystal Plumage. And Dario said, would you do it? I read it and I said, yes, I could do it. So that's how it happened.
And talk a little bit about Dario Argento. This was his debut as director.
Debut as a director, right. Now, as I understand it, he had been a critic.
And a screenwriter.
And a screenwriter, obviously. But for some reason, up until this point, he hadn't directed a film. And we shot this film in 6 weeks. And Dario didn't speak that much English. I did not speak that much Italian. The script was in English. I mean, we saw the Italian version tonight.
But you're speaking English.
I'm sorry.
And Susan Kendall.
Everybody is speaking English except Enrico Maria Salerno. He's speaking Italian. But the picture was shot in English, but not in direct sound. But the original version, not the original version, but There is an English language version. Okay. So Dario and I got along very well because we didn't speak the same language. We're shooting the same script, but we're not speaking the same language. And Dario would smile at me after a shot, and I would smile back at him. And Don Dunaway, who had done the English translation, probably didn't translate some of the stuff we spoke to each other. So we finished the film, dear friends. I subsequently learned that the American way of working and the Italian way of working is not quite the same. Here in America, actors tend to discuss with directors what they think about a scene, and they disagree with the director. The director will say, well, I disagree with you, and we have a discussion and so forth. And I would disagree with Dario sometimes. And he would smile, and I would smile, and I think Don didn't translate the things we were saying to each other. So we finished the film in great fashion, but later on, a couple of years, 3 or 4 years later, Don eventually wrote some, I became very good friends with Don. He wrote 3 or 4 episodes on the Thomas series. Don said to me, you and Dario really didn't get along. I said, Don, of course we did. He said, no, I know the real story. So whatever went down between the two of us, I have no idea. But what's on screen is what is important. And what Dario wrote, and what Dario directed, and what Vittorio Storaro shot, that was Vittorio's first color film. First film in color. And I think he shot it beautifully. And there was, you got to realize, well, I'm going to tell you, there I am in my early 30s. There's Don in his early 30s. There's Dario in his early 30s. There's Vittorio in his early 30s. And we're all doing something new. Dario's directing his first film. Vittorio was shooting his first film in color. I'm shooting my first film as a non-psycho. I'm not kidding you. And Don is doing his first film as an AD, and we met. Vittorio had us out to dinner at his apartment on the outskirts of Rome, and it was like, we're going to do something. And we did. We did this film. And I think that was very exciting. And I'm very happy to be a part of it. And it was very exciting. But that dinner in that apartment, 3 relatively young guys, I mean, 30's not that old, it was very exciting.
And I'm just wondering, because we think of Argento as such a sort of ostentatious visual stylist, and there were such wonderful set pieces in the film. Did he tend to do a lot of takes? Did it take a while to get things right, or did he move quickly?
No, because we were shooting with film ends. Do you know what film ends are?
Short ends.
The short ends, right, okay. This is back in the days before digital. Okay, so it was a low budget. So, okay. Short ends, if you have a reel of, 300 feet, I don't know what a standard reel is, but let's say you shoot 200 feet of it, and then you have 100 feet left, maybe 50 feet left. They are still capable of being used as film. It's cheaper to shoot with short ends because you don't really pay that much. However, when you get, it runs out. And it runs out, it really runs out. So we would be shooting. And Vittorio loved to shoot. So he wanted to keep shooting. But Dario, knowing in his head how much money it was costing, would say, stop, stop, stop. But Vittorio would keep shooting, because he'd say, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. So you're asking me, did Dario have set pieces? I suppose so. He certainly knew where he wanted me to be, where he wanted the other actors to be. My guess is, I'd have to ask him, you'd have to ask him, but I think in his head, he probably had every shot planned. It's just that if Vittorio kept shooting, it was going to cost more money, you know, but that's it.